What is going on YouTube, and welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this being my review of The Real Housewives of Potomac Season 10, Episode 10. Once again, I'm not going to be going over the entire episode, just the things that stuck out to me. So, Wendy and Giselle, Giselle's going car shopping. She wants a G-Wagon. She wants an electric G-Wagon. Giselle asked Wendy, what do you think about your girl Stacey? And Wendy proceeds to say that she feels as though Stacey is constantly copying her, doing things that shit that she's been doing. Apparently Stacey called Wendy to ask about her stylist, and she's got this whole Shayo, marijuana business that's going on, and so I thought that Wendy felt different about Stacey. I thought that Wendy was more on Stacey's side, but I don't know if she's just saying this because she's in front of Giselle or what. But Giselle isn't here for Stacey, which I sort of kind of understand why Giselle isn't here for Stacey, and I think Giselle is intimidated by Stacey because she sees how popular Stacey could be, and she's probably now realizing now how popular she actually is because she is becoming a fan favorite. And I feel as though Giselle wants to separate herself from that. But anyways, that's a whole nother thing. But we then get Ashley and Josh. Now, in the previous episode, Ashley said that she doesn't really see their relationship going anywhere. So I pretty much knew that this was happening before it even happened. So Ashley and Josh go to an arcade. They're having fun. And Ashley is comparing the dates that she's had with Josh to the dates that she's had with her older suitors, if you will. And, she's used to going out on vacations and being flown, first class or private jet here and there. And, Josh just doesn't have the means to, give her that type of experience, if you will. And that seems to be for me at least, it seems to be the main reason why Ashley doesn't want to be with Josh anymore, because he ain't got the bankroll. And it's like, you already had an idea of his financial situation when you first got with him, Ashley. I would only assume. So why is it that now all of a sudden that is an issue for you? But anyways, and so Ashley tells Josh, we've got to be on the same page when it comes to your financial situation. And, I'm not sure if you can give me, in so many words, if you can give me the lifestyle that I'm looking for. And she's also says that, he might want to have children in the future. She's not exactly sure if she is interested in having, any children with Josh or anything like that. And so, she basically breaks up with Josh, which, I've always thought Josh was a nice guy. I do feel bad for him, and I do feel like she sort of kind of set him up because Ashley knew that she was going to break up with him, but I don't think he clearly knew that she was going to break up with him before the camera started rolling. So I feel bad for Josh in that sense. But anyways, he at least asked to walk her out. So we all know that he's a nice guy. Anyways, then we get the moment that we've all been waiting for, those of us who have been watching The Real Housewives of Potomac for some years now. Monique and Giselle finally meet up. And I saw a clip of Monique on Watch What Happens Live, and she said that, what they showed, Giselle actually took a lot more accountability than what they showed. I don't know, that doesn't make much sense to me, because in the scene it seems like Monique was taking all the accountability, whereas Giselle, she tried to minimize her role in their dysfunction. And it's I don't know if production is trying to show Giselle as this good woman, as this woman who has not done all the things that she has done in the first 10 season of Real Housewives of Potomac, and she's this new person to us. Like, no, we're never going to forget all the things that Giselle has said, especially when she accused Monique of sleeping with her trainer, and their child, one of Monique and Chris's child possibly not being Chris's. Let's not even get into what she did to Candace and Chris. Oh my goodness. I will never, never, ever, ever, ever forgive Giselle for doing that to them. Like, that was so low, so low. It was ridiculous. But anyway, so, Monique says that she wasn't in the best space, and Giselle, said that she didn't understand why Monique was acting the way that she was acting. Me personally, I actually was not watching The Real Housewives of Potomac while Monique was still on the show. I did see the season 5 reunion when Monique pulled out that binder and, went to town on Giselle's ass. But, you know, I don't necessarily understand what Giselle is talking about as far as how Monique was acting, but um they at least end things on good terms, which I think is a great thing for the both of them. So that goes great. So then Wendy and Eddie, they're having a pop-up session where they are selling their Happy Eddie products, and I'm very happy for them. And at the same time, Stacy is launching her Shayo products. She's got gummies. And, so she's got Jazzy that's coming, as well as Tia and Ashley, who come to her opening. And to me, it's really sad. I feel bad for Stacy that Stacy really doesn't have any allies on this cast. And so out of, she does have Jazzy. I think Jazzy is the closest girl that she is, closest girl to her on the show. But I think that that's really, really sad that she really can't have a good. Anytime an event like this would happen, you would expect all the girls to attend, but it just so happens to be two of Stacy's biggest ops that show up to this event. And so, when Ashley gets there, Ashley and Stacy go to the side, and Stacy's like, I really want us to get off on the right foot, and I felt like we got off on the wrong foot, and going forward, I want it to be more peaceful. And Ashley says, well, I mean, if you stop being a lying ass hoe, then, maybe we could get along. And, that doesn't get resolved, of course, because at least in my opinion, I feel like Ashley has to go. Ashley has no reason to be here. I don't know why Ashley is still here. She has no storyline. She's had no storyline for the last couple of seasons, or at least since I started watching back in season 7, I believe it was. And so, yeah, that situation is not being resolved at all. And then we get to Stacy and Tia. And Stacy and Tia, they kind of sit down with the other girls, and long story short, Stacy asked Tia to get out. I will say though that while Tia was talking, Stacy did interrupt her quite a bit. And Stacy actually had a conversation with one of her friends earlier in the episode, and her friend encouraged her to go off on these girls, and that's exactly what Stacy did. She asked Tia to leave the event. She said, "Sayonara, bye bye, get out." And for me, that didn't land as perfectly as I would have wanted it to. But at the end of the day, Stacy is not that girl who's just going to read you for filth. Like, for me, she's not that girl. But why be around people who don't want to support you? Why be around people who don't want the best for you? And so if Tia's not going to support what you're doing and things of that nature, what's the point of her being there? So I don't blame Stacy for kicking Tia out whatsoever. I can't really put my finger on how I feel about Tia just yet, because I like Stacy so much, but hopefully as we get on through the rest of the season, I'll be able to get a better handle on how I feel about her. But that's all that happened on this episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Press the thumbs up button. Also, make sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Be sure to join me every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. I always have a great time with my sister Prophetic Fire Reiki, as well as our friend Bianca. We always have a great time on there. Join me every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out, y'all.